I think I made 2 cents and the company made 3 cents.
For what? A magazine?
Yeah, this was like a Sunday magazine that you have in a
Oh.
Sunday section, you know? But it was bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit wider.
What gave what gave you the idea to start doing that?
I done everything. Anything I can make half a copper penny. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was
So any little angle you figured you could make a couple pennies at,
I
you
got a, I had
tried
a
it.
rifle. I got a .22 rifle selling rosebud salve. Rosebud salve. I got a .22 rifle. I got pocket watch with a chain for selling that. You got your commission plus if you sold so many papers, you had a route, you know. You sold so many that you got your extra goodies. You got a rifle, got, you know.
Oh, that sounds like my paper route.
Oh, yeah.
Remember I used to get all the coupons?
Yeah, I done that.
Tell
Sold
him,
with paper.
tell him what you did with your money.
Oh, I
Tell
used
him
to
you
hide it.
collected $50 bills
I used
when
to
you
hide
were
it.
10 years old.
Oh,
Tell him where you-
Wait. Start
I used
back.
to hide it.
Start back when you were small, as a young child, as far back as you can remember. What was your best experience, your most favorite moments, or
The most thing I can remember was bootlegging, selling whiskey down at the dance hall.
really?
That's what you had the
And how
most fun
old?
at?
That was
Huh?
the very best memory?
That's what you had the most fun at?
That's where I made the most money.
Oh.
So you were having the most fun.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
Yeah, I was young. Yes. I don't know. How old was I when I was doing that? I think so.
10?
Ambrose,
10?
Bertha's husband. See, in those days, it was prohibition. You couldn't, you know,
Right.
you didn't have liquor stores.
Right?
You made whiskey and sold whiskey, you know, bootleg whiskey they call it. And,
Who was making it then? Not
Dad
you.
made it, but Dad never sold it. He never sold it. But there was neighbors all around him. Everybody up there made whiskey, sold whiskey. I mean, to exist, to live, you know. And but Dad never sold his. That's the reason we have so much company in our house.
So you
all the
stole
time.
it from him.
I used to steal it.
You mean
From him.
people would come
Sell
over
it.
and visit? Just
Yeah, what?
because he had a good brandy?
Oh yeah, he used to. He'd never drink the whiskey that was distilled the first time. You know, they call it rot gut. You know, the first time you boil the mash, you know, it gets a little cloudy. See?
You give that to his guest?
What? No. Dad
That's
would,
what John
Dad
stole.
would take all that and put it in gallon jugs, and he knew how many gallons fit in that copper boiler. That wash tub, you know, copper. You still see it down at Kidron High. You see all them tubs down there. He made one up. He took it with a soldering iron. I'll never forget it. In a coal stove, getting a soldering iron hot, and using that 50-50 solder to solder the sucker valve on that tub, you know. And all you had to do is touch it, it would break off, you know. It was a flimsy job. And he used to put the mash in there, and the first time he made the mash, he used to save all that whiskey, and then he used to redo it again, you know.
Put it back in and do it again?
Oh yeah,
Oh, like refine
it
it?
was like a TNT bomb. It would, well, if that sucker would have blew up, it would never found you, you know. And he used to put that all back in the boiler, you know, redo the whole thing, you know. Then you had to carry cold water from the well, or if it was wintertime, you carried snow, you know, because you had to condense it like a condenser, right? Like a air-cooled condenser in refrigeration, right? It was in a pipe, but this wasn't a sealed pipe, but it had to be turned from steam to liquid, right? Different thing. So when it come out of that boiler, and the stove was going, you could hear it gurgling, you know, boiling. And you had to know how much fire to put on, so if you boil too fast, you got the damn shit coming out of the pipe, which made the whiskey bad, you know.
Yeah.
So you used to put that back in that tub. You had the lid on it, you know. And he'd take flour, Big Joe flour that Mom used to bake bread with. And he used to sit there, roll it up, and make it like a thumb, you know. And he'd take that lid, he'd go all around that lid, and put this like a rope, you know. And then he'd take it and put that thing on that boiler. Then he had C-clamps, regular C-clamps. He'd go around, tighten them up, you know. And then he'd take a carbide lamp to check the sucker if it's leaking. So could you imagine that sucker? If that sucker would have blew up. I mean, this is pure alcohol coming out, highly flammable, explosive, right?
Right under the fire.
Takes
Over the fire.
takes the lamp and check it to see if he's got a leak.
If you had a leak, it would go like a little blowtorch.
You would have blew the whole joint up. Or sometimes you take a match, you know, go with a match, you know.
Like checking for a gas leak.
You got cigarette gas.
All right, finish your
So
house.
how'd you go?
Wait,
Wait,
no, I
how
want to hear
would-
the house. She had the porch.
Where'd you get the brandy from? I still don't understand.
Well,
If your
he
dad
made
didn't sell
himself. He made it himself.
Yeah, but if your dad didn't sell it, how did you get your hands on it?
He stole it.
Well, I stole it. I stole it when he was making it. See, we had this other little house on the side of the house, like you know, that little outhouse we got like you know. Well, it was a summer house. Is what it was. It had a kitchen. Had a big coal stove.
Oh.
It had 2 windows in it.
So it gets warm there, so you
Yeah,
don't
if
heat
it
up your
got too
house.
hot in the
until-
house, you
yeah.
cooked all your cooking outside there, the coal
Oh.
stove, and plus you had a washing machine in that corner right there, see?
Oh.
And by that washing machine, you had a window there, you used to put the old flexible hose on that Maytag washer, put it out the window, and you go up there, you give that sucker a crank, and it go put, all
Gasoline
afternoon.
engine?
That was the Maytag washer. They got them down in Kidron High.
Oh, so
Whenever you go down there, you
your mom
look
had
to
an
see-
automatic washer?
Oh, yeah. man.
Wow, well, that
We
was
were the
good.
only people that had a washer.
I was gonna say,
That's
that's
the reason
pretty
they used to, they were jealous of that all the time, you know. And he had that washing machine, he got it from J.C. Penney,
Ah,
in
through the
downtown.
catalog?
and he didn't pay for it, the guy, you know, they knew him down there. Dad says, well, about a month or so, I'll bring you some money. Yeah, that's how he done it, yeah.
Wow.
That was the credit card, huh?
Yeah, that was
Was
his
it
was
for her
your word.
birthday or something?
Huh?
Was it for her birthday or
Well, he
something?
bought her, yeah, because you know, he had a lot,
A
kids, a lot of
gift?
clothes, you know.
Wow.
Until then, she used to wash it on that board with a wooden
Wow.
tub, you know.
Yeah.
So I got her that. That was a godsend for that. Then that same stove, which was a big, beautiful stove. I think they're selling them down in Kidron. What we looked at them, almost $3,000 getting for them sucker stoves. The ones that we had in that thing, you know. Had a hot water tank next to it, so you could take the hot water, wash it, put it in the bowl, take it outside, wash your face in, you know.
Yeah.
So then, when it come time to make whiskey, she had this mash in a big barrel, about that big. It was rye whiskey, or he'd make it out of peaches, he'd make it out of plums, because we had a lot of peaches, you
Yeah,
know.
like brandy or
There,
something?
yeah, a peach brandy, plum brandy. Oh my God, he made the best shit. When you pour it, it'd be oil. Like if you poured
Oh,
oil, on it,
wow.
that's how it was. It was delicious.
So you got a good price for it,
Huh?
I'll bet. You
Oh,
got a
I
good
mean,
price for it.
Dad didn't sell it. Dad gave
No,
it
but
away.
when you sold
Yeah.
it,
Oh yeah, I made a little.
Was
money.
it like a premium stuff?
Yeah. So he, whenever he'd make whiskey, I always volunteered to help. Always. Oh man, I was eager. More than eager to help. You know. I said, oh, don't worry, Dad. I'll go get the snow. You know, or
How
I'll
old? Oh,
take
you were
my
10.
turn, you take your turn, you know. So I wanted him to have his turn, so when he's gone, I was really dipping into that sucker stuff, you know, and I was hiding it under this wash machine, because the wash machine had a sheet. Mom took good care of that wash machine, because that was her labor-saving thing. So underneath the wash machine, all you had was a little Maytag one-cylinder engine, you know, and it had a lot of room around there, so I used to hurry up, fill my bottles up, you know, and I'd swindle here, and I'd throw it underneath there. And then when it was all done, Dad would clean up the mash, because you do it at night. It stunk, the whole damn thing. You could smell mash for a long way, you know. Everybody up the hollow would say, hey, Krupar's making whiskey. You know, you smell it, yeah.
yeah.
So I would take that whiskey, and I would hide it. I had it hid. I had the sucker hid under the house. And then when I had dances up there, like every Saturday I think it was a dance. That hall is still there. It's still up there, the hall of dance hall.
Have a name?
Huh?
Name?
No, just a hollow dance hall, I
Right,
guess.
the dance hall.
Everything's a hollow.
So did your
Yeah.
dad ever catch you?
Huh? No, I told him before he died. That I told him.
Oh.
And did he know?
No,
Did he
he
say
didn't
he
know.
knew?
Oh, you never
Ah,
knew.
No, but he- But they used to have these dances.
And what'd you do with your money?
I saved all of mine.
Saved it?
I
Where'd you
was,
save it?
I was a Scrooge.
How'd you hide from all your brothers and sisters?
I had it hid under the house in the burlap, little what do they call that, Mother?
Bull Durham,
Bull Durham sack.
For tobacco or something?
yeah,
From the tobacco.
tobacco little sack.
Not thinking that shit the mice and the rats could have took off this stuff. But I had it the tile, and I had it blocked so they couldn't get in there.
All those kids, man.
Yeah.
Geez, somebody might have found it.
No, they would never crawl in there where I crawled.
Were you saving for something?
Yeah, I was saving.
What?
I was hoarding it.
What were you hoarding it for? Just because you like to have that much?
Yeah, I
Or
like
you
to have
nothing
money.
specific?
Hasn't changed a
Yeah,
bit,
it
huh?
hasn't changed, no. I'd finish your house.
I was hoarding
You had a
it.
porch around your house,
Yeah.
a one-room
Oh,
home,
good.
Yeah.
one room, or?
Well, let me tell you the story about this guy
Alright.
that used to buy the whiskey off me.
Oh, okay.
There were 2 brothers. Okay, George, and he was George and John, I think his name was. George was a big strapping guy, a big boozer. Man, he'd drink anything. He'd drink rotten gut if you give it to him when he's desperate, you know. It's just typical alcoholic, see. And he had a 4-door touring car. Like we just see one on television. Remember the other day you had some kind of program on? This big, beautiful 4-door touring car, you know. But he didn't take care of it like these guys did at the movies, or you know. And he used to drive that sucker, you know. Rose Novotny. You know Rose Novotny? remember a lot of times I asked her about her, how come she didn't marry that guy, remember?
Now Rose was the one up the hill from you.
Yeah, that was up the hill there, yeah. They lived in Cleveland, right? We used to go visit them. So I used to kid Rose about it, and I said, how come you don't marry? George or John, whatever his name was, I said, look, you got a beautiful car, you know, you make a nice living for it, you know. So she wasn't interested right now. So then I used to sell the whiskey to him, and underneath them touring cars, the tops had big padding, you know. You could take your whole hand and put it up there, and that padding was real tight, like in an airplane or something, you know, years ago, or buses years ago ahead. So, George used to take that whiskey, you know, swig that sucker. He'd go around there, you know, and give everybody his buddies drink, his girlfriends drink, you know, and he'd take the bottle and flip it. Well, I couldn't buy bottles. I mean, it was hard for me to get it, come by a bottle, see, because that was bootleg days down there. It was hard, especially for a flat pint bottle where you could put it in your bed. So I used to go find a bottle, go up on the hill. There was an orchard up there, apple orchard, and that's where I used to have a whiskey hidden when I knew the dance was going to be. I used to go up there, fill the sucker up and down. I'd be there all night selling whiskey.
Same bottle?
Huh?
Same bottle?
Oh yeah.
Oh. You, of course, sanitized it and disinfected
Well,
it and washed it
whiskey
out.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh. So in one night, how much would you make? Average night?
I don't know, but it was good money for those days.
Well,
That was
guess,
good.
guess, give us a
I don't
guess,
have
so
the
that
least
people will
idea
know.
now, but all I know, I ended up with $50 bills.
At age 10?
I ended up with $50 bills, and I
Wow.
never had a bicycle that I bought there. Nobody ever bought me a bicycle. Nobody ever bought me a tricycle. Nobody ever bought me a wagon. I made everything out of scrounge. If I seen a piece of junk someplace, I could make something out of that sucker. I take it, you know, ended up with 4 wheels, bicycles. I could tell you, in those days when I was young, I could tell you what a new departure brake was, a Morrow brake was, in the bicycle, you know. How them suckers worked, you know. Well, how'd the brake work? You know, you push the pedal down and that thing would spread out, you know. I used to sit there and take it all apart, and I'd make a little schematic. I'd draw, this is the bearing, this is the cone, this is the other bearing, this is the thing, and I used to write it down, and that's how I taught myself with that sucker. I used to be able to take a Morrow brake on a bicycle, tear that sucker apart, and put it back together.
Did you go to school?
Huh?
Did you go to
Yeah, I
school?
went to school. They had a school up there. The school's still up there. They had an oily floor.
All the kids went to school?
Yeah, they all went to school.
And how far of a grade did you get to?
I
Did you
didn't- I
have
didn't go-
grades?
I
or
didn't go
just-
through eighth
How many
grade.
years?
I
8
didn't
years?
go to 8th grade. I had to go to work.
Went to 7 years of school?
Probably 6.5, maybe, I don't know, 7 or something.
Wow.
But and that's what happened.
Then you get to the point like at a certain age, they just pull you out of school to help with the family, or what?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, in those days, they didn't care if you went to school or not, you know.
Well,
high school.
who made the decision to send you to school to begin with? Your mom or
No, you had
dad?
to go to school, yeah. They had truant officers up there.
Oh, they did.
Oh yeah, they come around,
Well,
catch their parents.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At what point did they say, okay, you're not truant anymore?
I guess after you come out of grade school, nobody said shit to you, you know.
okay.
Yeah, that was it,
Kind of like grade school was like high school now, huh?
probably.
Like right now, if you get out of high school, you're okay.
But they
They
had
didn't
high school
care
in
if you
those
went
days.
to
They had
school.
high school. Ann and Jewel and all them went to high school.
Oh, really?
This was a brand new
Well,
school.
how did they end up going?
School bus picked them up down by the mailbox.
Well, how come they went and you didn't go?
I had to go to work.
He,
I was
he
working.
did it. He
I had
put
to
them
go to
through
work.
school.
I had to go to work.
Well, but were they your younger brothers or older?
They were younger.
Oh. So at what point in the line were you? Out of the 15, 14? Like number 4 or 5?
Oh, what? Bertha,
He was in the middle. He already told us.
Bertha.
Oh, you were in the middle?
Yeah, he told us.
Mary,
He named them.
Bertha, Mary. And one died. I was about the 4th one.
Oh, okay. So you were like the older
Well, I was the
third.
oldest boy. Yeah, I was the oldest boy.
Oh, you were the oldest
Oh,
boy.
yeah, I was the
Oh,
oldest
okay.
boy, yeah.
Well, that's probably why then
Yeah.
you did that. And then they, what was your first job?
First job.
This is when you were like, let's see, 6th grade. You'd be like what?
Let's see.
11 or 12.
First job I
or
ever
something?
had, I think it was, I was working for this Harvey Watson, they call. He had a farm in New Cumberland, Ohio, or Cumberland, Ohio, which is south of